Now, leaders from the African Union and the European Union are meeting for the second day of a summit in Brussels. African leaders are using the event to repeat their demands for waivers of COVID-19 vaccine patents. The EU has responded by saying it will invest in new factories in Africa to produce the vaccines locally. The summit's being billed as a reset in relations between the regional blocs. Further announcements of funding are expected today. DW correspondent Jack Parrock is in Brussels, and I asked him if there's been any progress between AU and the EU over more equal access to COVID-19 vaccines.
At the moment, we don't think so. We know that this is really the big battle between the leaders of the African Union. There's 40 of them here, and the 27 European leaders. The South African President, Cyril Ramaphosa, has called this vaccine apartheid regularly and accused the Europeans of preventing the possibility of African people getting the vaccines that they need to get through the pandemic. Under 10% of African citizens are fully vaccinated with 2 doses. Many countries in the European Union are hitting 70% of booster doses already. But the Europeans simply say that releasing the TRIPS waiver, so allowing intellectual property rights to be completely suspended so that everybody could make these mRNA vaccines wherever they like, that simply doesn't work. They say that there needs to be the know-how, there needs to be the technological understanding of how to create these vaccines, and that's why they say it's better for them to create factories and then sell them into Africa. As I say, this is the big battle at the summit, but there have been other issues that have been going on. Yesterday, France said it was pulling out of Mali, removing just under 2,500 troops into other parts of the Sahel region of Africa, and that's been a big issue, the security issue that the leaders have been talking about as well.
While those leaders from Africa and Europe debate COVID-19 vaccine supply, a pharmaceutical company has unveiled plans for new scaled-down vaccine factories. Germany's BioNTech says its so-called Bion-tainers could provide millions of doses of its coronavirus vaccine in African countries. Other diseases could also be targeted.
These containers could help advance the global fight against COVID-19. Tiny vaccine factories, modular units, developed by German pharma firm BioNTech to produce mRNA vaccines.
You can build it on stock, for example, and you can deploy it very quickly, and you can scale it to any size you want. And then it became very clear that this is the perfect case actually for Africa.
At the moment, only about 12% of the African population has received 2 vaccine shots. BioNTech says its Bion-tainers could initially produce up to 50 million doses per year, making Africa less dependent on imports. At the same time, the company's CEO, Ugo Shahin, made it clear BioNTech won't suspend its vaccine patent. But he also said the company won't challenge vaccine copying in Africa.
We recognize that vaccine equity is not given at the moment. We had a wonderful meeting with our partners from Africa, and one of the most impressive statements was that vaccine equity is not about the past, it's about the future.
Shahin welcomed some African leaders on Wednesday at the company's production site in Marburg to present the new project. While some criticize BioNTech's initiative, saying the European-built solution is not local enough, Senegalese President Macky Sall says it's historic.
This day finally puts an end to vaccine injustice during a pandemic that has affected the world. We have experienced that the African continent was left alone because Africa only produces around 1% of the vaccines that are administered on the continent.
In the future, BioNTech also wants to use the Bion-tainers to produce vaccines against malaria or tuberculosis. The first prototypes will be implemented in Rwanda, Senegal or South Africa by the end of this year.